What's up, Jooba people? In this song, we're going to look at the chords of Lover You Should Have Come and how Jeff Buckley came up with these beautiful chord voicings. And also okay, how he come up with these 20 chords and how he makes it sound very beautiful and not busy, but still manages to use 20 chords. And yeah, so how he probably came up with this is using a term called voice leading. Now, voice leading might sound a bit complicated, but it's actually not. It's basically when you follow the melody of a song and you incorporate many melodies into your song. So for instance, if one melody note goes higher, so for instance, or lower, it doesn't matter on the movement. So in one part of the song, the melody goes, that part that I played. It's quite a beautiful melody. I mean, the one going up is not that beautiful, but once you put the chords around it, then it is, once you put the other ones. So everything impacts. So for instance, this one melody, the one descending, the moment I add the bass notes in, sounds nice, but the moment I add the middle note in, listen to this. That is then very beautiful. So basically what you're doing is you're starting with a basic melody that you want to sing. And it doesn't have to sing exactly that melody. It can just be the melody that the music's playing. So voice leading, in short, is all about melodies and having multiple melodies inside your chords. So you start maybe with one melody like Stairway to Heaven. And you start to build some chords around it. First you try that. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. You could have done. So you kind of mess around with things and you see what you like, and then eventually those melodies, you kind of look at them and you're like, oh, that's the chord that I'm playing. But you do not think of chords per se. You think of melody first, put the melodies together, and then see what comes out. Sometimes when one note goes up, this note might stay the same and this note will go down. Like with Stairway to Heaven, the melody goes up, ding, 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 while the bass goes down with chromatic notes, And then sometimes the notes in between stay the same. So you have just the outer notes moving, but the middle one's staying the same, And sometimes you have this with... And you need to provide that consistency sometimes. Like, for instance, with these shapes, the two high strings stay the same. Just to provide that kind of glue behind everything. So there's a lot of things he's keeping in mind. But let's go to the first chord progression. I'm just going to show you some of the theory behind it. He's really only using two non-diatonic chords, so two things out of key. Further than that, he's just staying in key. Well, well, about 4, but those other 2 are just like passing chords. But the first non-diatonic chord he uses is the flat 7 chord, which is this C add 9, which is not in the key of D. I mean, you've heard that it's that rock sound. Okay, so that C, that flat 7 chord gives you that rock sound. So this is the Tennessee Whiskey progression, basically 1, 2. But adding that C add 9 as a passing chord just gives you that nice flavor. And you can almost always, when you go to the 2 chord or to the 4 chord, you can add the flat 7. Gives you a very nice flavor there. Okay, and that chord that he uses in the descending is also a C. That's the only non-diatonic chord in that sequence. The rest are all diatonic. So he revisits that C note many times in the song. Okay, then the chord which you might think is non-diatonic but isn't is the C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Now that is in the key. All of these notes are in the key. It's the 7 chord in the key. It's not often used, but this is a 2-5-1 progression in the key of B minor. So C sharp going to the F sharp going to the B minor. That's a 2-5-1. So I'll play it for you a couple of times and you can get the idea. I'm just going to use a simplified voicing. So it's a classic sound. It's a very jazzy sound. It's a very common to people's ears. And people are used to hearing it, even though it's not that popular in popular music, but people are used in movies and everywhere. People listen to this. It's very jazzy. And I'm not going to go into the theory behind the 2-5-1, but it's basically the notes are just nicely leading into one another. So there's a lot of voice leading inside that little chord progression. So this leads to He has a D chord there. Okay, so he's basically voice leading the whole thing. This F sharp chord is the, if you think of it as the key of D, then it's the 3 dominant 7th chord, okay, which also there. But you can think of it in the key of B minor, then it's the 5 of the B minor. So this F sharp 7 always leads to the B minor chord. So this F sharp 7 leads to that B minor chord in the chorus. In the chorus, we have that same progression, B minor to E minor the whole time. So it's just a 1 minor to a 4 minor. Think of it as the key of B minor. And then the C is that, it's that blues sound, right? That flat 7 chord. And then dropping it down to E minor. Now, when he hits to the post-chorus, he has this D diminished chord, and this is just a chord leading you to the D over F sharp. That's nothing else, okay? It's just a passing chord which has some chromatic notes that don't respect any key really. They're just kind of next to the major scale. So if you look at the notes of this chord, that F leads to the F sharp. And this A flat leads to the A. But you have one consistent note here, and that's the D. Now we go to a G minor 6 chord. Now G minor 6 is the 4 chord inside the key of D, and it's very common to play the G as a minor chord with jazzy music. So it's often like very common chord to play, and it's often not just played as a minor chord but as a minor 6. So beautiful. Now, this is starting to take the song. Usually the G minor 6 resolves back to the D, but he's using it to go up. So he's going, the bass is, was the F, ooh, F sharp to the G, higher to the A6, peaceful, but then still peaceful, but just going up, and he keeps walking it up, goes to a C sharp, and then skips one fret, the D, and then goes straight to the C over E. There we have that non-diatonic chord, the C note. So he's basically just wanted to go. He just wanted to do that, and then he just systematically added notes to it. But probably he's been playing these voicings for a long time, because this is a very powerful movement. So, I mean, these are fourths, you know, fifths, and they power chords. Very beautiful sound, and if you combine them with 6, so you make this a 6 chord, so there it is, you know, or you could go, that last one didn't work, but you get the idea. You start with one basic thing, and then you develop it around that. I don't know if this video left you more confused or, you know, a little bit with a little bit of clarity. I think to sum it up, for me, when I look at a song like this, I'm like, okay, first of all, just respect it for what it is. It's a genius work of voice leading and just like moving throughout the chords inside a song. But it really helps you, a song like this helps you to see how you can move inside a key. So for instance, if you want to go from a D over F sharp and you want to build it up, then you could go to G, to D, you could experiment and find your own kind of way to play it, but just remember, melody plays a very big and very important role in choosing chords, you know, and usually the melody is very simple, and then the chords around that make it a very beautiful melody. Sometimes, you know, you just have like a simple melody and it sounds good. You know, I love it when the sum is greater than the individual parts, and that's what voice leading does. It says, okay, let's take 2 simple melodies and then add a really interesting bass over it. What can happen, you know? Because if you take that first melody, you can go. If you just add the bass notes, it's very generic, but that one non-diatonic note, that C note there, suddenly this chord now sounds sad, because this is a 6th interval. It's kind of a little bit of a sad interval. And then here, this, not so sad. Oh, beautiful. These 6 chords just add this lush kind of thing. But if you had to use this, you know, kind of the same little vibe there going, you know, if you connect those 2 songs. That's Sting's Shape of My Heart. It's the same kind of shape. Oh, I love it. Okay, I hope that makes a bit of sense. If there's music theory enthusiasts that want to correct me, you're more than welcome.